Hello people, welcome to probably one of the first F1 videos or F1 2020 videos on the channel. Today we're racing a little bit of ranked lobbies. The two tracks we're at is Belgium, which we're seeing right now. I'm about to hop in the middle of one shot, so we'll be racing when the race actually happens. And we have Mexico, that'll be later in the video. So I have decided to show you kind of the tail end of how qualifying looked like. We had collectibles kind of leading the charge through Sector 2, and now as they get through Sector 3, just coming down to the final big straight here at Belgium. So, obviously already off to a pretty bad starting position since we didn't get to qualify, but hopefully we can make the most of it here as Collectibles comes through the final chicane, and he is going to take P1 in qualifying. So for this video, I went into only 5-lap lobbies. Was not feeling 25% lobbies. But anyway, that is the qualifying results, and now we are skipping straight ahead to the race. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights, and lights out, and away we go at Belgium. We get a pretty good start. Kind of being a little bit mindful here of the stuff that goes on in turn 1. As you see, someone's already binned it. As we make our way to our Rouge. And now to Radion. So, while this video, or while this race in particular is going on, this Crazy Paw guy, who's right in front of me at the moment, will be pretty much a deciding factor of how my race goes as we get more people coming off the track. We get side by side with him, almost get knocked off track, but keeping it straight. I get a really good corner there compared to him. I have to go really wide. Even all the way on the exit, I almost go into the wall. That's how wide he's pushed me. As now I've kind of lifted off. I've gone really wide again. Crazy Paw has to avoid a wreck that happens right in front of him. As I now make my way down into this chicane, and again I've just overdrove the corner, and Crazy Paw has just driven right into me. So I go to check the wing damage. There is none. So I'm very thankful to see that. And then there is wing damage now. He overcorrects right into me, which is very unfortunate. And now Jeff is suggesting a different strategy, but with it being a 5-lap race, not really a point in me pitting, so just gonna stay out. I think the wing damage isn't even that bad anyway, considering it's just a yellow, so as long as it's not a red, we're okay. It's gonna be a little understeery, but not to the point where it's unmanageable. So we're gonna make our way into the second lap of this race. Now I've decided to show you guys pretty much the entirety of this race, except for maybe like the last lap or two. Well, at least for the most part the last lap. Mainly because we get a little bit of a comeback going, as we're able to finally run some laps, start tracking down the guys in front of me here, as another person's been taken out on the straightaway. I get a little bit too far in on entry, and that winds up making me have to not turn anymore, so that wasn't very good. Trying to keep the throttle off and as late as I can get that just get a better run off. Really, that's just the goal here at Belgium, especially in that corner. Just really looking for that slow in, fast out approach. So that was the main goal going into the race as far as cornering goes, and then also have enough straight line speed to contend if we could at all. Unfortunately, we're not contending for much more than a podium, so we are making our way down the back straight as we are catching Crazy Paw through the kinks here in this straight. So Gap right now, only 2 seconds, only 2.1. We're closing in just a little bit more through the chicane. It's come down to 1.8 as we hit the line. So we gained about 3/10 through the chicane. Back through turn 1 again. Get a really, really good exit. The car still approaches slower corners really well, even with a yellow wing. So we're in good hands for right now, as we make our way up through Eau Rouge and Eau Radion again. We are hauling through this straight right now. Only 1.7 back, although he does gain a bit on the straight, so a little bit more straight line speed out of his car compared to mine. And through the chicane again. This is where we catch him. This is our strong suit. We have a lot of good cornering speed here compared to him. Even with a little bit more of a damaged wing than he has, perhaps. I don't know what his damage looks like, but we are in a very good hands on this lap, as he makes a big mistake through this fast left-hander, and now we are here. We're ready to take the position back as we make our way through the chicane. I'm just battling around the outside, and again, he just kind of comes over across my nose, and that nearly takes us out. Doesn't mess up that time there. Overshoots, and yeah, there goes the wings. So we're screwed. A little bit screwed here, but we're just gonna tough it out. I don't think there's a reason for me to pit, and as you can see there, we are really off the track now. There is not that much handling that we're gonna have. It's gonna be very understeery for the remainder of this race, so just gonna hold on to it, and hopefully it's enough for me to at least get 4th. If I drop back to 5th, it's not a big deal. As you can see, Crazy Paul right now only 3 seconds back. So he's closing. He is going to close here. I don't really have much of a choice. As you can see, again, just off to the side. I go ahead and just downshift to 7th because we don't have the revs to really stay in 8th. Then I move back up to 8th. We lose about a second right there throughout Rouge and Radion. And we are only 17 seconds ahead of 6th. And you can see me kind of crawling my way around that chicane. Really having a tough time navigating through the corners. And yeah, this was probably the worst corner after I lost the wings. It's a very tough corner without wings, since you have to have a slower approach to it and you have to have a lot of good turn. When the car doesn't turn, that seems to be the bit of an issue, and again, we're just overshooting here. I'm just kind of letting off on the throttle. I'm just letting him by at this point. I can't really push compared to him, because apparently his wings are somehow still good, even though he's collided into me at this point twice. I go into the gravel trap, and I've pretty much given up all hope, and then there he goes. He completely spins it again, and that was actually the last I saw of him. He kind of fell back as the race went on, and now we will go ahead and skip to the end, where we are making our way through the final chicane. And we are going to finish P4 in what was a rather rough race to be in the first place, so I'll take it, I guess. And now we are going to move on to our one-shot quali at Mexico. I've decided to show you guys the entire lap as far as this race goes. Not really expecting too much here. Just kind of glad I'm able to qualify. I just don't really want to mess up a lap here and then be forced to start in the back. So just gonna make this as good of a lap as possible. I thought I corner cut there and I thought my lap was over, but we are all good to go as we set sail for the end of Sector 1 as we get down the straight. Didn't purple there, so we're obviously not on pole so far, but maybe we can turn it around here in these next 2 sectors. A little bit off in that double right. That was probably the only time during this entire quali and race session at Mexico this time about I shifted up to 4th. Afterwards I just kind of stayed in 3rd gear, for the most part. Just really no reason to shift up a gear when I'm going to have to immediately drop the revs again. But as you get in the hairpin, I'm a little too slow entering, and that causes me to have to pick up the throttle a little earlier, which was a big issue because that lost me a lot of time. A little bit of oversteer coming off this final corner, and we have hit the line with a 1:16.3. So that was not the best lap, but it could have been worse. But we do manage to qualify P2, so I will take it. I will definitely take that. A lot of people got disqualified. There's the quality results, and we are going to skip right ahead to the race. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4, 5, and away we go at Mexico. And it's already a pretty bad start. We've lost a position. I'm not really going to contend with it. I'm just going to drop into the slipstream. Not going to fight it too much, as I really braked early, anticipating a bad corner by second or first there. But everything is pretty much good to go. I'm not really pushing that much. So as we head into the chicane, just really looking to not really have any contact. And now we are still P3 as we make our way into the S's. Also, if you hear a little bit of a clip as far as the microphone, or if there's like an editor jump or something like that, I don't know how it's going to sound in post-recording, but it's because dogs started barking, so I had to kind of stop there. But we are back and all set to go as we enter the hairpin. This time we get it right, no throttle needed, and then we experience a little bit of oversteer. So with these two races, and with a lot of the races I've been running now, I've been kind of taking custom setups and really just trying to see if I'm really any good at this game. And unfortunately with this Mexico setup, it gives a lot more oversteer than I would have really liked. Because especially to this last section, where you saw me kind of lose it over the hairpin, and I lost it at the last corner, it doesn't really give me a chance to really shoot through the final corner and onto the straight as well, as I missed my braking zone there. And it really causes me to mess up a bit, and I see track limits there. That's just not great. But hopefully I can kind of find a way to resolve that, whether that be just messing with the setup, or if it's something easier, like just deciding if it's my wings that need to be fixed there, as I overshoot again. This was a really... it wasn't a tough race, but it really wasn't the greatest race for me personally, but it could have been a lot worse. At the end of the day, I could have been wrecked in lap 1, so I'll take it. As I oversteer again, heading into this final corner. This time, I mostly get it right. I kind of jump to the bottom there to try to break the draft or the slipstream. It's not working. As you can tell, it's really not working. But at this point, I'm just kind of happy to be hanging around in the podium positions. And it is still really difficult, as we're trying to hold off two people at once. They fortunately don't get the DRS yet, because the same activation zone is used for both of these DRS zones. So that's fantastic, and I'm able to kind of try to get away a little bit before we hit our next DRS zone. And this second sector so far has looked pretty good, although I think there's just a little bit too much left to be desired there. I could have messed around with the corners a bit more, but we somehow catch the DRS. And then we do green in the second sector, so that's great. And now we head back into the hairpin, praying for no oversteer. No oversteer this time. It's a really good set of corners. And as we make our way through, a little bit of oversteer there, and now we're looking to take over second. Can we get ourselves up to second place? as we shoot for the bottom for the corner, shooting for the inside, which will cause him to take the inside in the second corner. We do take it, and we're gonna hold on to it for now. A little bit of oversteer as we exit this little section, and we will go ahead and claim P2 and hopefully pull away a bit within this last 2-lap period. So everything's looking pretty good, but let's fast forward real quick to lap number 5, and you'll see we run into a bit of an issue here. I have made my way into 7th gear, and now I've forgotten to shift, and this kind of cost me a lot. Pretty disappointing, but I really lost all that time, because that allows them, and again, this is another DRS zone, so it really didn't play into my favor this time. And we're going to lose 1 and a second position, because I'm trying just to get back to the outside, but it's not there. I kind of make contact, lose the back end a bit. I'm able to kind of shoot the gap to try to make it back into it, but it's really not there by the time we get into this corner. I have to give up a lot more than I really wanted to, and that would put him in P3, and that'll put me P4. I overshoot as there's a big wreck behind me, and now we're coming down to the last little section of the track. Unfortunately, P4 is where we're gonna have to sit, but really should add P2 there if I hadn't forgotten to shift into 8th gear for some reason. But with that, that'll do it for this episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.